Hello, this is Nicole with Angelic Therapy and Healing. So we are going to be doing something a little different. Instead of doing your typical weekly readings, we're actually going to do a monthly reading for September for each sign. Hopefully that will help kind of dive into some specifics that are happening with you and your situation at this time to get you some more detailed information particular to you. Do keep in mind this is a general reading. It is for a lot of people. So you might find there's only one or two messages for you. When I do these readings, I do pray, prepare, shuffle. I do ask that each of you receive at least one message, but it is good to keep in mind it is for a large audience. And if you find that not much is resonating with your sun sign, go ahead and listen to your moon or your rising. You might be able to get some information from those as well. And if you're still finding there's only a few messages, that's good. That means things aren't too bad. So I would be thankful for that. Now, for those of you that are new to the channel, welcome. Glad to have you here. If you don't know much about me, I survived a bombing in Afghanistan. And at that time, my spiritual gifts were opened up, like blasted open up. I am clairaudient. I hear Jesus and the angels talk to me. I'm a medium. I'm an empath. I am certified by Doreen Virtue. I have a couple certificates by her. I am a quantum touch energy medicine practitioner. For those of you that aren't familiar, that is it's a healing modality. So like in a 3-hour healing session, and I give all the credit to God, a 3-hour healing session, I've had hundreds of people healed of cancer, multiple sclerosis, even like hip replacements, and down to things that are less severity, like healing broken bones, healing torn tendons, whatever it is, it can be taken care of with quantum touch. So welcome. You can read more about me. I'm not going to go into any more details, but there is an About Me section on my webpage. Feel free to check that out. For those of you that have been here for a while, thank you. Glad to have you continuing to return. Thank you for your subscriptions, your comments. Thanks for sharing these videos. I do love hearing how these are helping you. So even though I can't respond to all of you, continue sending the comments my way. I do love reading them. Now, for those of you that are going to be asking about sessions or readings, I'm still not accepting new clients because I am booked out quite a bit in advance with current clients, but please stay tuned. As soon as my retirement is finalized, I will then open up for new clients. It should be happening in the very, very near future. I will announce it in these readings. So as soon as it's announced, then you will be able to go online and book appointments. So we are going to do a little educational bit, and actually this is going to be the same intro for every single sign. So if you do go and listen to your moon or rising, you can skip past this part. I know a lot of you are going to skip past this anyhow, but I would encourage you to stay because it is going to help you kind of understand what's going on right now with the energy. So as we all know, the energy is extremely intense right now. It has been for most of the year, but especially since we had the eclipse on August 21st. And it's, as you notice, everyone's like, oh, why hasn't it settled down? Because it's starting to ramp up even more. And it's going to continue like this all the way through the end of September. Many of you know that on September 23rd, there is going to be that Revelations 12 sign. If you are not familiar, there are a bunch of videos on YouTube. Just go to watch whichever one you are guided to watch, and you'll be able to get some information on that. The 144,000 should all be sealed by September 23rd. And what you're going to find is things are going to start to ramp up even more than they are. So if you've not done any research yet, there is this Schumann resonance, and it's the Earth's heartbeat. Essentially what it is, the Earth has a frequency, and it's an interplay with our electromagnetic field. Essentially, it's the pulses of energy between the Earth's surface and our ionosphere. And for years and years and years, the Earth's resonance heartbeat was at 7.83 hertz. And what they noticed in 2014 is that it began increasing. And 7.83, if you think of it, it's kind of like an alpha theta, like a dream state. You're very calm, you're very relaxed. Once it gets over 16.5, that's kind of like, actually over 15, it's kind of like an awakened calm. So like an awakening, spiritual awakening. And that is why a number of people have been going through all this awakening stuff. It's been particularly intense for millions of people since 2014. And it's continued to increase. They found that in 2017, it had jumped to over 36 plus hertz. And once you get over 36, it's kind of like there's this nervousness and anxiety in people's brain versus that calm, healthy state. But what that does is that starts to change our DNA. That starts to bring in more of God's light. It pushes out the dark. And we see that every day. We see these things happening, and we're kind of shocked that these things are happening in our world right now. But in order to fill things with more light, with more love, you have to get rid of the dark. And you got to push the dark out so it comes to the surface so we get to see more of it. Now, on a personal level, what's happening for us is that's forcing all of us to release our own individual darkness, our karma. We have to release those things. We have to learn those lessons. We have to heal those things. That's why we've been under such intense pressure and being pushed, kind of like in a pressure cooker that's about to bubble over, because there's just so many things being pulled from our lives, released from our lives, let go. But that is because we're being filled with more light, more of God's light, love, coming into a state of unconditional love. To come into that state, we can't hold on to the darkness anymore. We can't hold on to people that aren't meant for us. We can't hold on to situations that aren't meant for us. All those things that do not serve us, all those things that are not of love, of unconditional love, and even down to not loving ourselves, that all has to go. Has to be released, has to be healed. Lessons have to be learned, things have to be let go of. And that's prepare us for things that are to come. And it's all this big awakening that we're going through, this ascension process. And there's a lot of ascension symptoms and things that you go through. There's actually a guy that does YouTube videos. I don't often have time to watch his videos, but when I do, he's got really good videos. And I think he posts one per day. But if you want to check him out, I'll put a link to his YouTube channel below. His name is Victor Odo, and he talks about the ascension process. And he gives tips and pointers and things that you can do to ground yourself, to release things, because there's a lot that you can do. I mean, if you're struggling, because a lot of people have been struggling since the 21st. They've had a lot of ailments, conditions, headaches, rashes, all types of things popping up. Tonight, fill your tub, fill it up with some water, put some Epsom salt in there, and soak in the tub for 20 minutes. That will release those physical toxins, that will release those emotional toxins, that will help you get to feeling better. Anytime you feel these things bubble up, that's because you're releasing things. And in order to speed that up, soak in the tub, go see a healer, walk outdoors in nature. You know, for some it's also changing diet, but there's things that you can do to help this, help your system quickly release it. And he does cover those things in his videos. Now, you will find, because a lot of you, again, since the eclipse, you've had just a lot of intense energy, weird things happening with your body, headaches that won't go away. A lot of you are kind of feeling like anxious, like, oh my gosh, something's about to happen. I don't know what's about to happen, but I'm a little anxious. I don't know why. That's because things are going to be continuing to accelerate. Clear up until September 23rd. Now, with the whole ascension process, it's still going to be intense after that, but you will get a bit of a breather. So once we get into October, you get to take a deep breath, kind of calm down a little bit. But it is in preparation for things that are to come. So I'm going to share some information, and don't be worried about this information. It's all good. It's all bringing us to a better place. It's not something to freak out about. But when you read the Bible and you look at that, what it talks about in the Bible, like the rapture, that is true. These things we are going to see in our lifetimes, those of us that are here right now. And again, it's not something to fear. But what we're doing is we're preparing essentially for, if you look at it, it's kind of like the earth is going to be splitting into two. So there will be like this new earth. There's actually some videos out there. Dolores Cannon, she did hypnosis sessions, and people were always talking about this new earth, this split. And many of the things that she shares in her videos are true. Now, not everything, but many things are. So what I would recommend is check out some of her videos. You know, pray, ask that your angels and God and Jesus, ask that they come and they help you discern what is true and what is not. And ask that they help fill in some blanks for you. Because you'll find if you ask that, you will know immediately something that's resonating with you that, yeah, that is true, that is spot on. You'll know what is not, and they will fill in the blanks for you. But you do have to pray and ask that they do that beforehand. But what's described in the Bible. And actually, if you look at, you know, religious texts and look at them, there's actually bits and pieces from different parts, because, you know, Jesus was a Jew. He actually was an Essene. The Essenes are the foundation of Christianity. It kind of all grew and evolved from there. But what it talks about with that, you know, going to be going through the rapture process, things are going to appear that are like that. Now, the severity of things that do occur as we're going through these changes do hinge off of where we are as a collective. You know, we can make things not as bad. We can make things worse. It depends on whether we're coming from a place of love, or whether we're coming from a place of fear, where we're all coming from too, and what we're contributing to that. But we are going to get to a state in this split where millions of people are going to disappear. What is going to appear for the people that are on old Earth is that, you know, they'll wake up, because it will happen in an instant, in the twinkling of an eye, and just millions of people will be gone. And those that are going to be gone, those are going to be the people that believe. They believe in God. They believe in Jesus. Not to delve too deeply into texts and things to look at, scriptures and stuff, but I encourage all of you, as we go through this, to do your own research, look at things and see what really truly resonates with your heart and soul. Because what you'll find is you'll learn a lot, and you'll find that these things are going to resonate with you. Because when you watch, like, you know, Dolores Cannon, she did these hypnosis sessions, and they're coined QHHT sessions. When you watch those, you'll find a lot of people, when they talk about the new earth, when they are asked, like, what's required to get to the new earth, they always, you know, they'll say that, you know, they have to believe. They have to believe in God. They have to believe. That's true. Now, when you look at Jesus, when Jesus was here, again, he was born Jewish, he was an Essene, but he loved everyone. It didn't matter the color of your skin. It didn't matter what your religious upbringing was. He traveled around. He loved everyone. He was here as a savior, a Messiah for everyone here on earth. Everyone, all of us, every single one of us. And it's interesting, because when I do healing sessions, and you know, I'm a seer as well. Oftentimes when I'm doing them, I'll see what my clients are physically wearing on the other side of the world while I'm working on them. But when I'm doing these healing sessions, and, you know, it might be my client or someone doing soul contract cancellations with, or whatever, the moment that Jesus comes into the scene, because when I'm doing these sessions, Archangel Michael's always there, Archangel Raphael's usually there, but sometimes Jesus will come in during the session, and the moment that he enters, the client, their family members, whomever else is there, all of them will immediately drop to the ground and bow down to him, because he emulates that power. Jesus is power. He is the light. He is the light that will snuff out the darkness. And he truly is. Like, if you look at near-death experiences, when people have a God come in, that they meet, that they get to experience, it's always Jesus. And I encourage you to try it for yourself, actually. Because, again, we're all supposed to learn. We're not supposed to just blindly believe things that we're told. You know, we're even taught that, you know, in the biblical texts. We're supposed to learn. We're supposed to discern. We are supposed to dig. We're also supposed to ask, and we will receive the guidance and information. Not to trust what others are giving us, not to be deceived. So many of you, because you are going through this ascension process, many of you are actually under psychic attack right now. There is a spiritual war going on between light and dark. So many of you are being attacked by darker entities. You know that because you're having bad dreams. Or, you know, your animals or your kids are just fighting all the time. It's like there's a lot of this anger and hatred in your home. Or maybe you're tripping when you're at the house, and it's kind of like you feel like someone pushed you or shoved you. Or you accidentally cut yourself and you're like, I wasn't even doing it. It's almost like something else did it to you. Or maybe in your dreams you're getting red eyes, or you're having a really lot of dark dreams. And they're kind of scary and worrisome. When you're experiencing those things, that's because something dark is in your home. It's very easy to remove those things. Now, you can, in your own power, command that person to leave, that entity to leave. You can call upon any higher power that you want to. You can say in their name for it to leave. What you will find is that entity will not leave. However, when you command it to leave in the name of Jesus, and you call on God and Jesus to help you, and you command it in the name of Jesus to leave, you'll find that you and your family get instant relief, that it's gone. And that's something I encourage clients to do right away, because, you know, I'll talk with clients, they'll be like, oh my gosh, all these bad things are happening, and I don't know how to stop it. And when I recommend that they try that, suddenly the dark stuff's gone. Suddenly their kids are getting along. Suddenly their animals are getting along. Suddenly they're not tripping and hurting themselves anymore, because there is power in the name of Jesus, and it's gone. But you, again, don't have to believe me. Try it yourself. See how it works. Now, I know I've shared in some other videos that last September I was falling asleep, and there was this, it was as though someone was standing outside of my bedroom playing a trumpet. Now, it's interesting because in, you know, Jewish, there's different, you know, feasts that they have. They have feasts of trumpets. Then these are very important points when you look at things that have happened worldwide that are big, that have been, you know, foretold in our theological religious texts, not just Christianity. They happen on a Jewish feast, because that's how God times things. That's how Jesus times things. And so we were around one of the feasts, and I hear like someone, it's as though literally standing outside my bedroom window playing a trumpet. And then within a couple days, I was unloading my car, I was outside, and all of a sudden I heard this like a horse, and it literally blew on my neck and jumped, it made me jump, and I was startled. And it was Jesus on this white horse, and he told me to not be afraid, and he told me that it's time to prepare, it's time to start preparing. Now, if you're familiar, Jesus on a white horse, when he returns on a white horse. So, and you can research that and check that out, but there are things that are about to occur, that are about to happen. So, like some may have noticed, like we've had a lot of people passing away the past 2-3 years, and like people that are young, totally unexpected, and it's been a lot of people. Like, you know, in our lifetimes, we've never seen anything like this until recently. That's going to continue into early 2018. That's because our loved ones, they know what's about to come. They want to witness it from the other side. They don't want to get to experience it with us. They will be with us. They will be helping us. They're just going to be doing it from the other side. They're going to let us have the experience. And that's why there have been so many of them passing on, because they have made that choice to not be on this side for everything. Now, again, it's not something to be afraid of. But what will happen is these people who believe, they will disappear. They'll be on this new earth. Now, that new earth, I'm not going to go into a whole bunch of details about that, but maybe at some point we'll do some down the road when they tell me it's time. We'll do some educational video about that. But essentially, people will be there for about 1,000 years. Eventually, it's like the returning to Garden of Eden. And over that time, over that 1,000 years, people's bodies will evolve into light bodies. So then it will eventually evolve to the point that, you know, people are there, but they're not physical bodies. So we'll talk about that more later. Simultaneously, around that same time, what will happen is these people will disappear, and that's going to be millions. Because a lot of people think that they're going to be left behind because, you know, the Bible states only 144,000 are going to be ascending. No, millions of people who are believers, are going to just, boop, disappear. Almost at that exact time, immediately following the disappearance within minutes, the 144,000 will ascend. And those that are here on old earth will physically see them ascending. And what they're going to see is they're going to see Jesus on a white horse. They're going to see his army of angels behind him, and they're all on white horses. And those 144,000 that are going to ascend, they are angels incarnated. They're physically in human bodies right now, but they will be ascending. They are part of God's army. And that's going to be kind of like the final throwdown with the dark. But once that's all done, and that's going to be very swift and quick. I mean, if you look at human times, it's going to be something that's going to happen in under an hour. It's going to be very, very fast. And then those 144,000 will meet their families on the new earth. And it will seem like they weren't even gone. It'll seem like, you know, seconds. But it's not anything to fear. You really don't have anything to fear and worry about. I mean, if you look at it, if you're listening to this video, you're preparing to go to New Earth. You're experiencing all these ascension systems, ascension symptoms, you're preparing. Your system's changing, your body's changing. You are preparing to make that change, make that leap. That's a beautiful thing. And when you look at it, I mean, it's been a struggle for us because we've had to lose friends, we've had to lose lovers, we've had all these things taken out of our life. But that's because those things aren't good for us. And we're going to a place that's filled with love and bliss and joy and unconditional love. Those things were not of unconditional love, so they're not meant to go with us. That's why we have to let them go. You can even find that you're having very positive experiences. Like maybe you have, I was talking with a friend and, you know, we were having a conversation about how, you know, you can be driving the same path as someone else to work at the same time. And maybe you don't experience any traffic and you don't experience any car accidents. It's like easy breezy. You're hitting every green light. You're like, this day is amazing, best ever. But then you talk to your friend who drove the same time, the same route, and they experienced nothing but stop traffic, red lights, car accidents. It was a horrible drive to work for them. That's because you're starting to see the split. The split's starting to already occur. So some of us are having really good positive experiences. Some of us are not having such good experiences. The split's starting to occur. And that's why now is the time to prepare. It's time to prepare spiritually, it's time to prepare mentally, it's time to prepare physically. And what that really means to us is it's time to stop the distractions. You know, the angels have been talking nonstop in all of our videos the past couple months is stop the distractions, stop the multiple relationships, the rebounds, the drugs, the addictions, the behaviors that aren't, you know, in your highest good. If you're supposed to be, you know, because those of us that have things that we still need to let go of that we're like clinging tightly to, we know what it is that we're being guided to do and let go of. We know that. It is time to do those things that we're being guided to do. So if you're being guided to let go of an ex or a partner or a job or even a diet change, whatever it is that you're being guided to do that. Because so many of us, because the things that we're still holding on to, we're holding on to it out of fear. We are terrified to let that person go, that thing go, because that's been, you know, that's been constant for us. That's been, even though it's not been happy, it's been stability for us. It's been comfort for us. We don't want to venture into the unknown, but that is the one thing that is not meant for us. It's not good for us. We know that. But instead of dealing with that, many of us have turned to other relationships, or we've turned to alcohol, or we've turned to drugs, or we've turned to pornography, or we've turned to anything and everything that will keep us off of doing what we're meant to do, keep us from having those conversations, keep us from ending those ties, keep us from signing the paperwork. But the time has come to do those things because they're trying to bring us back to a state of unconditional love. They're trying to bring us to a state of loving ourselves, loving others. They're bringing us into a state of wholeness. We can't be whole and happy with this baggage we keep lugging around. We have got to let the baggage go because we're drowning. We've been struggling to tread water for a while, and it's drowning us. So we've got to let that dead weight go. And what you will find this weekend, if you happen to listen to this, the first weekend of September, for those of us in the United States, you'll be celebrating Labor Day. But it'll be this weekend all the way through the full moon that we're going to be having this first week of September. It's going to be intense. You're going to feel some of that intensity that you felt around the eclipse. And that's because they're hitting us to release those things that don't serve us. So, like maybe you're noticing a repeated theme. Like something keeps happening over and over and over, but you're clinging to something you know you need to let go of. It's time to let go because you can't take that with you. You can't take that person with you. So maybe you started, you know, dating someone else. Maybe there's an ex you're supposed to be letting go of. And, you know, you've not let that ex go because maybe you think it's going to change, or maybe there's money worries, or you're afraid of going into the unknown. Or it could be that like your family relies, and I'm not talking your kids because you still get to take care of your children. You need to keep taking care of your children. But I'm talking about like maybe their family counts on you, their siblings or something, or maybe there's like some community connection with them and you don't want to let them down. But for some reason, if you boil it down though, it's fear. You continue to hold on to them. But maybe you're not talking with them at this point. You've not ended the final ties. So while you're sitting in this place of limbo, knowing that you're to release that ex, and you haven't, not wanting to deal with it, you start jumping into other relationships, and maybe you jump into a rebound relationship, but you're discovering that that rebound is a lot like your ex. You know, maybe they are very manipulative, or maybe they really try and nag you into doing things or push you to do things, or maybe they're trying to push you to quickly commit, or they could be like a me person, self-centered, it's all about them. Or they make you feel bad in order to get you to do something that they want you to do. And you feel kind of like, dang, this is like my ex. I feel like I've jumped back into my ex. That's because it's a repeated pattern. You are seeing the same attributes and characteristics of your ex because you have not released your ex. You have not released that karma. You have not learned that lesson. So it's ramping up. It's ramping up because it's time to let that person go. So this weekend through the full moon, this next week, many people are going to have some huge breakthroughs, some big epiphanies, some ahas. That is meant to help you let go of that fear that is keeping you from taking that leap of faith, that final step of clearing that karma, releasing that person, releasing that situation, because the time has come. And we've been pushed to do this for a couple years, because what you'll find is essentially the way the planets are going to be aligned at this time is the same way they were aligned during the eclipse in 2015. So some of you were being pushed to release the exact same thing or person 2 years ago in August 2015. But what happened is you did not want to let go. You're like, oh, hell no. I'm going to hold on. I'm going to hold on with both hands. I'm going to cling with both legs. I'm going to drag on their leg because I'm not letting them go. This is my plan. I'm sticking to it. I refuse to release it or release them. But you clung on. So for some of you, say it was a love interest. You know, in the fall, heading into the winter of 2015, you decided to, maybe you proposed to them. Maybe you remarried them. Maybe you married them. Maybe you stopped divorce proceedings. Or it could be maybe you stayed at that job. But instead of letting go, you went the opposite direction. You clung out of fear. For many of us, the exact same thing we were to release in 2015 is boiling back up. And many of you have seen that same exact situation bubble up recently, and you're really going to see it bubble up this week because it's out of fear that you're clinging on to it or clinging on to them. The time has come. It is time to let them go. It is time to let the situation go. We are really being pushed to take that leap of faith, take that plunge, release the fear, release them. We're also going to be pushed to deal with the things that we keep ignoring. So maybe we don't want to deal with it because it's going to be an uncomfortable conversation or a difficult conversation, or it's going to be, you know, outside of our norm, outside of our comfort zone. So we're like, oh gosh, I just don't want to deal with that. I just can't deal with that right now. I'd rather just keep burying my head in the sand or burying my head in someone else instead of having to deal with it. It's coming to a culmination point where it has to be dealt with. That's why we have been under so much intense pressure now for a couple years, because we have to release it. We have to let it go. We can't go to the new earth. We can't go through this ascension stuff that's about to happen until we release these people, these situations, this karma. If you look at it, an easy way to look at it is to sit down and think, okay, what was I supposed to learn from this person? Because if you look at it, or situation, typically there's something that you were to learn to love yourself unconditionally. Because if we love ourselves unconditionally, we won't allow people to treat us that way. We won't allow them to make us feel as though we are less than. We will establish healthy boundaries. We will not tolerate a job where we are not respected and valued. But we have to love ourselves. But instead of getting so wound up in emotions, if we can separate and look at it, and also pray, God, Jesus, angels, help me. What was I supposed to learn from this? Because as soon as you realize what you were supposed to learn, suddenly you don't have the emotions, you don't have the desire to cling to them anymore. You're like, okay, deuces. Deuces, learned it, don't want to go through this anymore. I'm tired of this crap. And for those of you that have found a rebound that they're the exact same as an ex, you'll be done with them too. Because you're like, no, I deserve better than that. I am worthy of better than that. I am so worthy of so much better. And I've now figured out what I was supposed to learn, and I'm done with it. But the time to do that is now. Because you can't take them with you. And you don't want to be stuck here because you can't release the fear. You can't release those worries. You can't come back to a state of loving yourself unconditionally. That's why we're all being pushed. It's gotten so intense for all of us. But for those of us that have released things, congratulations, because those of you that have released those big karmic things, yeah, the eclipse was still, it was intense for everybody. It was still intense. It might have bothered you a little bit, but you weren't depressed. You weren't having panic attacks. You were just kind of breezing through it. Congratulations. You have released your big lessons, your karma. You are prepared. You are ready. For those of you that are not, use this time to let it go, to sit down, and also to face your emotions, because for some of you, they're saying you don't want to deal with it because you do not want to face your emotions. You don't want to share them. You don't want to acknowledge that you have them. You don't want to open up. You don't want to be honest. You don't want to be honest with yourself. You don't want to be honest with others. This is the time to do that. Let those walls down. Take your mask off. It will be worth it. And for those of you that are fearing the conversations, they're not going to be as difficult as you think they will be. Because if it's meant to be, if it's a conversation to let someone or something go, it's going to go really easy, and you're going to release that instantaneously because you have so much support on the other side. And also on the flip side, if it's a conversation for someone that you're meant to bring into your life or something that you're meant to do, that's going to go really easy too. Because sometimes we beat ourselves up because we think, oh, I really messed that up real bad. That's not going to happen. Don't have those fears. Just, you have an entire team helping you. Ask that they help you. Because again, the thing to keep in mind, our angels cannot help us unless we ask for their help. Because we have free will. The only time they will ever step in without us asking is if it's life or death. If it's not our time to go, they're going to step in and keep us here. But other than that, they will face palm all day long and wonder, why won't you ask? We can help you. We can make it easier. Just ask for their help. They will make it easy. It'll be a breeze. Because if you had nothing but heartache and trials and tribulations and blocks and headaches this whole time, you know what you're being guided to do. You got this whole team behind you that's going to help you execute it and make those changes. Let them help you. Ask them, they help you do that this week. It'll be worth it. And then you'll find that you're not going to be stuck in this little hell any longer, because for those of you that have clung on, it's been a pretty miserable 2 years. Aren't you ready for things to get better? For things to get better, it's time to stop the distractions, do what you're being guided to do. Because when you've released that person, situation, that karma, you have learned that lesson, you will be back to a state of loving yourself. You will not feel bad about making choices that are good for you. You will not allow someone to control and dominate you. You will set healthy boundaries, and you'll just come back into a state of bliss, of happiness, where life's easy, where you're that person who's driving down the road and you've got every green light and you're listening to your favorite song and you're getting a little dance party going on in your car. You're like, life is so good. Thank you for this. Life is good. To come back to a state of loving life and loving every minute of it and knowing that life is good, you got to do your work. But it's not going to be as hard as you think. So they're there. Let them help you. Do that. Use this time, use this energy, use your team, and just do it already. Get her done. And then get back to your happy, because they're ready to bring you some happy. Okay, so I know that was long, and I'm going to do each of your signs and astrological readings. So just know that however long this is right now, you're just going to get to skip past this on each of them. I will put it at the beginning of each one. And let's go ahead and get started with your monthly astrological readings. Hello, Libra. Okay, let's go on ahead and get started on your reading for September 2017. I have prayed over the cards, shuffled them, asked that each of you receives at least one message. Do remember it's for a large number of people. Now, for those of you that are interested in what cards we are using today, I'm using Doreen Virtue's Fairy Tarot and her Mary Queen of Angels and Archangel Michael Oracle cards. I'm also pulling from the Wisdom of the Oracle by Colette Baron Reed. I have prayed over, shuffled, and prepared my Lenormands, my Sabilas, and my Findicicles if we need any clarifiers along the way. So let's make sure you can see these. Ah, pretty darn close. Okay, I know Allie. It's almost their dinner time. She wants some food. Okay, but we're gonna get this done first. Okay, so let's see what we have. I know Allie. You have to tune out the puppy. We have the situation, the foundation that led to the situation. We have what is blocking you, what is unknown, and then what they're recommending this month that you do, Libra, to move forward or do whatever it is that they are trying to get you to do. Now, the nice thing is you don't have any major arcana, which means you have control over the situation. The nice thing when it comes to the minors or the pip cards, that means we have more control over them. They're not destined, fated. They're not out of our control. We do have more control. So that's a good thing. Now, for many of you, this is actually you. You are the Queen of Autumn. And, okay, it's recording. Queen of Autumn, underneath it says generous, stylish, gracious, practical. And at the bottom it says be practical with respect to how you proceed. The ability to make anything more beautiful, meeting someone who can help your dreams come true. And the Queen of Autumn, this would be, you know, coins, earth in traditional tarot. She's like a fairy godmother. She will help everyone. She cares about everyone. She likes to swoop in and save everyone, help them all. She is very generous. She loves beautiful, luxurious things. She's all about the finer things in life. She has very expensive tastes, but she's also about form and function. She is very picky, discerning. She does typically tend to marry well, but that's because she's grounded. She likes the finer things. She likes the nicer things. Now, for some of you, maybe this is about your home, your family. You have the rabbit, fertility, bearing fruit, because she's also a good mother. But see how she's like looking down? It's almost like she's looking down. It's like she's trying to keep things in balance. Also, her eyes are closed, not wanting to see things. Many of you are really just focused on maintaining a marriage, a relationship. Because it's your foundation. It's money. It's your stability, your security. You're trying so hard. Because if she were walking on a tightrope, she'd kind of look that way. She'd have her eyes closed, be kind of really focusing, arms out, just trying to stay balanced, trying to stay on the tightrope. Many of you are trying to stay in a relationship, but it's been a struggle. They've been trying to bring it to an ending, a culmination, completion, because you have 10 of Winter, and 10 is all about completions, endings. You have to have endings for new beginnings. But you have 10 of Winter, and at the bottom it says the resolution of difficulties, a weight lifted off your shoulders, the end of an addiction or codependency. And this card's really, traditional tarot would be swords, which is being in your thoughts. Traditional tarot also, there's picture depicted of someone laying down, and they have 10 swords in their back. Like ultimate betrayal, ultimate hurt. But in this deck, it's really talking about running. Not walk away, but run away as fast as possible, because the situation's not serving you. It's holding you back. It's keeping you stuck. And although endings are sad, it's sad to leave what we're comfortable with. It's sad to leave the things that we've been with or the person we've been with. That change needs to happen, because it will bring us relief. It will ultimately bring us happiness. It's the thing that will lead us to greener pastures. But changing, especially, you know, if we've been married or if we've been in a relationship a long time, I mean, it could, you know, also we could be in like a work, career situation, but when we've been in a very long time, we become very comfortable with it. So to leave that, to change that, it's very intimidating. No matter how necessary it is, no matter how much we're being pushed to end that for a new beginning, it can be very difficult for us to make that change. And it's for all of us. I mean, we're all creatures of habit. We go to restaurants, we always like to order the same food. We don't like to get out of the norm. But I think for many of you, this is about a relationship. And again, you know, she's on her throne in order to maintain. So for some of you, you're looking at you are considering divorcing. It could be you're considering ending things with a partner, but a partner that you are financially entangled with, and you are trying to keep it together. You are trying to stay with them because of financial reasons. It is a codependency thing because you fear not being able to provide for yourself. But this relationship, this partnership, it's been filled with a lot of turmoil. It's been a lot of work. Now, initially, it was like a gift. Initially, you thought, oh my goodness, this is a gift. This is a blessing. This is very fortunate. You got all these like lights twinkling around her. Almost like magical. This is a gift. This is good. For some of you, it is a relationship that is founded on quite a bit of money. Substantial money. I see she's in the cold. The relationship has been cold. It has lacked the emotion. It has lacked the connection. And it has felt like it's just a bunch of work. It's just so hard. You see like the fairies like floating, but some of you, it's almost like you have to lift your foot up one at a time to kind of get a bit of a break. Lift your foot out of the ice. But it's been difficult. It's been challenging. But they're greener pastures. They're trying to get you to greener pastures. But like even when she's looking down, she's kind of like looking this direction. It's like she's looking at the past, looking at the foundation, looking at like, okay, I know it's cold and I know it's miserable and I know it's a lot of work, but I have built this empire. I have built this foundation, this home, I have all this stability. I have everything that I want, everything that I need. But it's not always about money. You can meet people that have a ton of money and they're miserable. Money doesn't bring us satisfaction. It's something that's deeper. Fruit. Oh, some of you it's affecting your health. Because this is a card as to what's blocking you. And you have Five of Summer, and this would be Cups in traditional tarot. So it's all about emotion. And against what this is the only card about emotion. The rest are your thoughts, ground, money, but this is emotions. And at the bottom it says, trust that there is a reason for everything that happens. Remove yourself from negative emotions of others, focusing on that which frightens or worries you. And fives are, it's the number of change. So it's blocking you. They're trying to bring this change in. But, you know, sometimes if we're really fixated and focused on things that aren't making us happy, you know, or when we're worried about our finances and our stability, we'll overlook those things that are not making us happy. Oh, okay, that's what you... So this has been a very difficult relationship. For some, it's been filled with some deception and lies, but because you are so concerned and worried about changes, you are overlooking that. It's almost like you're trying to make it appear better than what it is. But for some, it's like you don't think there can even be anything better. So for some of you, you know, your self-esteem, you're like, oh my gosh, this is as good as it's going to get. It's not going to get any better than this. I can't find anyone better than this. But you're filled with a lot of worry, a lot of fear. And it's making that change. It's really looking and seeing things for how they are. That's blocking you. And for some of you, you've worried so much that it is affecting your health. Like you're like, okay, if we get divorced, I don't know how I'm going to take care of the kids. I don't know how I'm going to take care of my bills. I don't know how I'm going to take care of myself. And it's just got you kind of spiraling out of control. And when our thoughts are negative, the things that we fear and the negativity, it does affect our health. You'll find that the people that always, you know, we all have that one friend where they think everything bad is going to happen to them. Everything that could possibly go wrong, they think of, and then they think it's going to happen, and then that happens. And we also find that there's like a direct correlation, because that same person will have a ton of health problems. They will have so many health problems. They bring it upon themselves with their fears, with their worries, with their fretting, everything. But because you are you're like in almost in like fight or flight. But you're in the spot, do I fight for this? Do I leave? Do I take flight? I don't know what to do. I'm kind of suspended. I'm stuck in a place of fear. For some, it is affecting your health. Now, what's unknown to you, you have 7 of Winter. And at the bottom it says, there is a better choice, not seeing things clearly, running away from the truth. And you see that she's, you know, there's this ice skater, she's got this liquid, but she's taking off really fast. But this is all about really evaluating your plans, looking at those, making changes. Because even though, you know, we've had disappointments, we've been let down, we're being led to better opportunities. You know, things haven't gone according to our plan. They haven't gone how we wanted them. It can also speak about, you know, avoiding unwise partnerships, self-deception, not seeing the truth. They have something better for you. But for many of you, you know, again, this is fight or flight. She's focused on the past. She's focused, you know what, I don't care how miserable this is. I don't care that I'm feeling, like if you look at, like in all these cards, she's always by herself. Now this could be a man. If this sounds like your situation, flip it around, but always alone. So even though many of you feel like you're alone in this relationship partnership, you feel like you're the only one putting in the work, and you're putting in a lot of work, but it is bringing you benefits financially. So because it's bringing you financial abundance, you don't want to change, you don't want to leave. For some, there has been deception involved, but you're overlooking that. And what's unknown to you is that if you would face the truth, if you would see things for what they really are, you would stop trying, because they're saying, like, for some of you, it's like you're fighting to make this work. And they'll stay in it as long as you'll stay in it. But you're the one that's picking up the workload. But you deserve more than that. You deserve better than that. That's what they're trying to bring you. But it's allowing them to do that. Because for many of you, it's like you're running from, you don't want the change. You will do anything to keep this situation from changing. And for some, it's because they have, your partner, they have beat down your self-esteem. They've made you feel not worthy. You have them, and these are 3 cards that are the recommendations, and you have grace. And at the bottom it says, I am filled with the same beauty, poise, and divine perfection of all of God's other creatures. You see, she's sitting here, she's very peaceful, serene, she's reading. This is all about self-confidence and self-worth, and know that you're worthy of better things. Feeling better about yourself so that, you know, you can take those actions to get things that are better, things that you know you're worthy of, things that you know that you deserve, to get into a healthier situation, something that's better for you. For some of you, this has beat up your self-esteem. And you're afraid that if you move, you see how these 2 trees, they're like opposite of each other. You have one that's it's in full bloom. It's got all these leaves. You've got the other one that's like dying. The leaves are falling off of it. Some of you are fearful that if you walk away from this, you'll have nothing. Some of you feel you won't have money, you won't be able to take care of yourself, that even though it's bad, you know, you're thinking, okay, this is as good as it's going to get. But that's not. Because they've been giving you a lot of signs and synchronicities. They've been trying to help get you out of this situation. They're trying to get you to see that you are worthy of better. And also that you're worthy of something that's not so much work. Because I get for a lot of you that this has been a lot of work for you. But your next card is blessed, and this is card 22. A lot of you are not feeling blessed. You see how she's sitting there, she's really looking sad. This is all about something wonderful coming in that is unexpected, and it's also unearned. Something that you didn't have to work for. This is about grace, you know, grace from God. Something that is a blessing. Something that comes in like totally out of the blue, unexpected, complete divine intervention bringing this about. And that's... a lot of you are getting sign synchronicities. They are trying to bring about a change in this situation. In September, many of you may have something come. Yeah, something's going to happen. Something will occur for some of you that is going to bring this to a head in order to get you moving forward, get you unstuck, get you out of your shell. Because a number of you, it's like you're stuck in a shell out of comfort. See how she's sitting down in this shell. But you're not feeling blessed. You don't feel that things are magical. You don't feel that you're being watched over. They want you to remember that you are. They are helping you. And when this unexpected thing occurs, remember that it's a gift. Because again, for some of you, they're going to bring something unexpected is going to happen to finally bring this ending, this change, this transformation about. You're not expecting it, you're not wanting it, you're going to kind of try to fight it. Allow it. Allow it. Open up to it. You know, this is a whole bunch of hearts down here. Because if you can allow the change and you can go with it, it will make things magical. It will turn things around. It's going to turn things around for you in love. Because I've been saying this is like a love. It's a love situation. It's like a marriage gone wrong, or like a partnership gone wrong. And it is time to leave it. And that's why they're divinely orchestrating that, because you deserve better. It says at the top, it's time to leave this unhealthy situation. And there's a prayer at the bottom, and it says, Archangel Michael, what parts of my life do I need to focus on more closely right now? Thank you for helping me hear your answers and for giving me the courage to make healthy changes in my life. And this really is the card that's saying leave. It's time to go. It's time to end this toxic situation. It's time to free yourself of this. It's time to walk away. Walk away without fear, walk away without hesitation, walk away without worries, without doubt. Now for some of you, although I get for most of you, this is love related. Majority of you, this is love. For some of you, this could be something related to drugs addiction. And they'll free you of that, but that's a small number of you. And they're going to bring about a change to get you to finally give that up. Because again, for those of you that's hurting your health. So hopefully this helped, Libra. You are a queen. You are amazing. You are beautiful. But you also deserve love. Remember that. And love that really fulfills us, like a divine love, a blessed love. It's not that, well, unless you're a twin flame, it's not that much work. It should come together. It shouldn't be so difficult. For some of you, it's been so difficult. It shouldn't be. You deserve ease. You deserve joy. You deserve bliss. And you are worthy of that. Just remember that. Remember that in September. And as these things unfold and these changes unfold, because for those of you that this is not a surprise, this is not something that's unexpected, this is, you know, this is kind of like a culmination for many of us at this time in this month, that, you know, we've known these things are coming. You've known these changes are coming. Just embrace them. You're worthy of it. So I do wish you all an amazing month filled with a lot of love, joy, and blessings.